Since the release of ChatGPT in late 2022, students have started to use AI software for various study habits. These include creating quizzes to enhance knowledge retention before tests. In response to this need, we developed an innovative web app to streamline the process. This app takes parameters to generate quizzes using ChatGPT and formats them into interactive buttons which will add to a running point total if the clicked answer is correct. This approach saves time by eliminating the need to craft prompts from scratch and avoids the hassle of navigating multiple quiz websites for different topics. Accessible websites are shown to boost students' efficiency in study significantly. We initiated the project by organizing tasks on a Trello board, dividing responsibilities between myself and my partner Josh. I focused on creating a ChatGPT API based multiple choice quiz and implementing a JavaScript image carousel. Meanwhile, Josh tackled building a separate page for a flashcard system, also using the ChatGPT API. We took the initiative to create a GitHub repository where we documented our commits and saved the progress of our site over time. The basic code for a ChatGPT API call is straightforward, taking any string variable and returning whatever ChatGPT would respond with if the variable was a prompt. By implementing the function arguments into the prompt we designed, the API call always responds with the quiz formatted the same way, but customized by the user for different topics and lengths. I created the template for our base site using a CSS file from a previous project, which after group discussion was later refined by Josh to give the site a sleek feel for better user experience. I developed a program to pass the ChatGPT response into distinct lines and convert them into interactive buttons. Within the ChatGPT prompt, I established a predefined format for laying out answers. Each question is followed by four potential answers, denoted by an asterisk at the end of the correct one, and then a break before the next question. At the moment, the answer is given as a block of text, but the response structure allows the program to iterate through stripped lines in groups of six, extracting the question and its corresponding answers. The parsing algorithm identifies the correct answer by locating an asterisk, removing it, and storing the answer in the correct answers variable. Upon selecting a button, the program increments the point total and progresses to the next question, irrespective of the answer correctness. During testing, the site would crash due to iteration errors from the code trying to find the next answer when there wasn't one. So I implemented code to reset the questions to their default state after all the questions were answered, resulting in smooth functionality and uninterrupted user experience throughout the quiz. In addition to the quiz code, I developed my JavaScript skills to create a carousel at the bottom of the page. It displays different images with example prompts to help users understand how to use the site better. This carousel contains 5 images that change when you click the forward or backward buttons. The process begins by selecting all elements with the attribute Data Carousel button and storing them in the buttons list. Subsequently, a loop iterates over each button, adding a click event listener. When the button is clicked, the function inside the event listener is executed. The direction of the slide change is determined by checking the value of the clicked button. If the attribute is next, then the offset variable is set to 1, otherwise it is set to -1. To find the slides container, the code locates the closest ancestor element with the data carousel attribute, and then selects the child element with the data slides attribute. Within the slides container, the currently active slide is identified. To calculate the new index for the visible slide, the code converts the slide children into an array using the dot 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 function, and finds the index of the currently active slide. The new index is then adjusted to wrap around if it goes out of bounds. The active slide is updated by setting the data active attribute onto the new slide and then removing it from the previous slide. I included comments in the code to explain and document what each part does so it's easier to understand for Josh and anyone else who may want to read. While the program itself runs smoothly, I encountered some issues with the ChatGPT API system. The main problem lies in its inconsistency with understanding formatting. Often, ChatGPT inserts unnecessary breaks between questions and answers, or forgets to add asterisks to mark the correct answer. Consequently, ChatGPT only outputs the answers correctly formatted as requested around 80% of the time. Unfortunately, there's not much I can do as a developer to fix this issue without resorting to writing extensive code to account for every potential mistake made by ChatGPT. Another concern is the cost of running repeat calls to the ChatGPT API. Each call incurs a small fee to my personal OpenAI account, and the total cost of all the calls Josh and I made during development added up to around 2 cents. If released to the public, this cost could quickly spiral, potentially forcing us to deactivate the site due to high expenses. Additionally, because this site was initially a personal project, I didn't create an .env file, and instead kept the OpenAI key directly in the Python file. If the site were made public in its current form, bad actors could access the code, steal the API key, and use it in their own projects. This would rapidly drain the account balance, and if it drops to zero, the API would stop working, rendering the site non-functional. Overall, our program provides an elegant solution to the problem at hand, offering students a simpler method to create quizzes for self-testing across various subjects. The process of developing this web app has presented me with challenges that compelled me to delve into new aspects of both Python and JavaScript, expanding my knowledge base for further projects.